January 14th marked the end of the denials. For months, we were told the rumours were exaggerated. We were told the lease was ironclad. We were told the Duke of York wasn't going anywhere. But on that Tuesday morning, under the slate-grey sky of Windsor Great Park, the visual confirmation finally arrived. Surveillance cameras caught them, unmarked white removal lorries. They didn't just approach the perimeter, they breached the gates of Royal Lodge. This wasn't a delivery. This was an extraction. The siege of Royal Lodge has officially collapsed. The king has signed the papers, but let's not kid ourselves about who is really pulling the strings here. The strategic brilliance, the ruthless timing, the absolute refusal to negotiate. This has the fingerprints of the Prince of Wales all over it. We are witnessing the systemic removal of Prince Andrew from the heart of the British monarchy, a dismantling so precise and so cold that palace insiders have given William a new, terrifying moniker, the Executioner Prince. This isn't just an eviction, it is a total social decapitation. And if you think you know the full story of why Andrew is being force-marched out of his 31-room mansion and into a converted farmhouse, think again. The reality is far darker, involving secret financial vaults, a fractured family, and a future king who has decided that his uncle is a radioactive liability that must be buried before the next reign begins. Welcome back to Royal Family Daily. If you want the truth the palace tries to bury, hit that like button and subscribe right now. We don't do fluff here, we do forensics. Let's look at the scene of the crime. For 20 years, Royal Lodge was Andrew's fortress, a Grade 2 listed symbol of his status as the Queen's favourite son. He poured millions into it. He thought he would die there. But on January 14th, the dismantling of that ego began in real time. Sources on the ground report a sombre, almost funeral atmosphere as those white lorries began the logistical nightmare of stripping a 30-room mansion of 2 decades of accumulation. We're talking about priceless art, royal memorabilia, and the personal debris of a fallen duke. But here is where the humiliation ramps up. Andrew isn't moving to a comparable property. He isn't being shuffled to a smaller palace. He is being exiled to Marsh Farm on the Sandringham estate. The name says it all. Marsh Farm. Insiders are already deriding it as a shoebox compared to the lodge. It's a drastic, tangible downgrade designed to shatter whatever delusional grandeur Andrew was still clinging to. The deadline is set in stone. Easter 2026. That gives him time, but not hope. The eviction is happening. But why now? And why like this? This is where Prince William steps out of the shadows. While King Charles is the one holding the pen, sources close to the Waleses claim William is the architect. The relationship between William and Andrew has disintegrated into what aides call a Cold War. William looks at his uncle and doesn't see family. He sees a threat. He sees a virus that could infect his own children's future reign. The strategy William employed to get us here is nothing short of financial asphyxiation. It was brutal, calculated, and effective. It started with the money. The king, urged on by William, severed the £1 million annual allowance. That was the oxygen supply. Then came the body blow, the removal of the £3 million private security budget. Andrew was left exposed. He was sitting in a mansion he couldn't afford to heat, guarded by security he couldn't afford to pay. It was a siege. They didn't have to drag him out, they just had to starve him out. But Andrew fought back. He waived his lease in their faces, a 75-year agreement signed in 2003 with a £1 million premium. He thought he was untouchable. He thought the law was on his side. He was wrong. William's legal team, acting as the Crown's forensic squad, found the weak point. It wasn't in the duration of the lease, it was in the maintenance clause. They weaponised the rot, specifically sewage repair failures. The Crown Estate inspectors went through that property with a fine-tooth comb and found a material breach of the contract. The Duke had allowed the property to degrade, damp structural neglect, and critical infrastructure failures. By failing to keep the mansion up to the standards of a Grade 2 listed building, Andrew voided his own protection. The irony is staggering. The man who lived in luxury lost his home because he couldn't handle the literal mess beneath the floorboards. This victory for William, however, has come at a cost. The House of Windsor is fractured. We are hearing reports of desperate crisis talks happening behind closed doors. Princess Anne and Prince Edward are reportedly furious, not because they think Andrew is innocent, but because they believe the punishment is, in the words of one source, unnecessarily harsh. Anne and Edward are looking at this from the perspective of siblings. They see a broken man being kicked while he's down. They argued for a quiet retirement, a dignified fade into obscurity. But William? William is unyielding. Sources claim he shut down these arguments with a simple, brutal logic. Andrew is not family right now. He is a permanent liability, a radioactive isotope that threatens the stability of the entire institution. William's ruthless streak isn't new, but it's never been this public. Insiders point back to the Order of the Garter ceremony in 2022. That was the palace coup. Remember that? Andrew was scheduled to appear. He was dressed, ready to go. The Queen had signed off on it. But William and Charles intervened. William issued a me or him ultimatum. He told the late Queen and his father that if Andrew walked in that procession, the Duke of Cambridge would not. He forced their hand. Andrew was pulled from the event minutes before it started. That was the moment William established himself as the Sheriff of Windsor. He vaporised Andrew's last hope for a public return that day. Now, he's vaporising his home. But as the lorries roll out of Windsor and the eviction proceeds, a darker threat is looming on the horizon. This is the part of the story the mainstream media is too afraid to touch, but it's the reason William is moving so fast. Palace investigators are quietly probing a locked vault of financial records. We are talking about shadow finances. There are whispers linking Andrew to Yang Tengbo and opaque, dirty cash deals in Central Asia. The fear inside Kensington Palace is palpable. They are terrified that these shadow finances are a ticking time bomb. If these records are exposed, if the details of how Andrew funded his lifestyle post-Epstein come to light, it could trigger a scandal that eclipses even the Virginia Giuffre fallout. William knows this. He isn't just evicting Andrew because he dislikes him. He's moving him because he needs to clear the blast radius. He wants Andrew out of the Windsor power cordon before the next explosion hits. Adding insult to injury, Andrew can't even move into his exile residence immediately. Reports indicate that Marsh Farm is currently uninhabitable. It has its own structural issues. So, where does the Duke go? Into a temporary, undisclosed cottage. He is effectively homeless, bouncing between properties, while his possessions sit in storage. It is a tactical humiliation. By forcing him into a temporary dwelling, they break his connection to the land. They make him a transient. This narrative of the invisible prince is being weaponized by the public too. The palace can't control the narrative like they used to because of citizen journalism. We are seeing a surge of investigation on TikTok and X. Users are parsing the unsealed Giuffre versus Maxwell documents line by line. They are tracking the physical removal of artifacts. They are flight tracking royal helicopters. Andrew's downfall has become a viral, serialized, real-time investigation. Every time a lorry leaves Royal Lodge, it's on Twitter within minutes. William knows he can't stop the internet, so he is feeding the beast exactly what it wants: justice. By acting as the executioner, by being the one to wield the axe, William aligns himself with public sentiment. He is showing the world that under his watch, there is no immunity for toxicity, even if it shares his blood. The move to Marsh Farm is strategic for another reason. Sandringham is isolated. It is far from London, far from the cameras, and far from the king. It is a gilded cage. Andrew will be surrounded by the flat, empty fields of Norfolk. No popping over to the castle for tea, no riding in the great park, just isolation. And let's talk about the money again. The eviction isn't just about location, it's about control. At Royal Lodge, Andrew was the master of his domain. At Marsh Farm, he is a tenant on a short leash. The king owns Sandringham personally. Andrew will be living there entirely at the king's pleasure, or rather, William's mercy. If he steps out of line again, if another interview happens, if another scandal breaks, they can remove him from there too. He has no leverage left. The psychological toll on Andrew is reportedly immense. Friends, what few he has left, describe him as shell-shocked. He genuinely believed he could wait Charles out. He believed the brotherly bond would save him. He underestimated the son. He underestimated William's vision for a slimmed-down, scandal-free monarchy. This is the new reality of the House of Windsor. The sentimental era is over. The era of the firm protecting its own at all costs is over. We are entering the era of the CEO King, with William as the ruthless chief operating officer. If you are not an asset, you are a liability. And liabilities are liquidated. As the weeks progress towards that Easter 2026 hard deadline, expect to see more leaks. Expect to see more unnamed sources detailing Andrew's unreasonable demands or his refusal to pack. These leaks are weaponized. They are designed to keep public opinion firmly on William's side. They want you to see Andrew as ungrateful, entitled, and delusional. But keep your eyes on the locked vault, the connection to foreign money. That is the next shoe to drop. The eviction is the smoke. The finances are the fire. William is trying to get Andrew out of the building before it burns down. The white lorries at the gates of Royal Lodge were not just moving furniture. They were moving history. They were clearing away the debris of the 20th century monarchy to make way for the 21st. Prince Andrew is not just losing a house, he is losing his place in the world. And the man holding the map, pointing him toward the exit, is the nephew he once watched grow up. The executioner prince has made his move. The Cold War is won. Now, we wait to see if the exile stays quiet, or if Andrew, cornered and desperate, decides to burn it all down with him. What do you think? Is William being too harsh, or is this exactly what the monarchy needs to survive? And what about that locked vault? Do you think the truth about Andrew's finances will finally come out once he's out of Windsor? Let us know in the comments below. This is history unfolding before our eyes. Don't miss a second of it. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribed to Royal Family Daily. We'll be watching those lorries and we'll be watching the money. Until next time.